When you're buying your meat from the grocery store, do you base it off the quality or the price? When buying meat, it is important to consider where and how the animals were raised and slaughtered. The bigger corporations don't care to cram the animals in tighter spaces for more profit while limiting their resources. When you're buying from the bigger corporations, you're funding animal abuse and the spread of diseases. Factory farms are abusive to their animals, unlike most smaller local farms. Factory farms raise their animals in tight spaces while abusing them. They do this because it is less land and resources, saving them money. These types of farms do certain procedures to save money that harm animals. For example, CAFOs, which are factory farms, trim the chickens' beaks. On egg farms, they will slaughter the majority of the male chickens and keep the females. And then they will saw off their beaks with a hot iron to reduce the risk of cannibalism and feather picking. But the birds wouldn't do this if they were not in such a stress-inducing environment. Smaller local farms do not perform such procedures. They do not need to because the chickens will not feel the need to cannibalism. The reason the bigger farms perform the procedure is because the animals will harm themselves or others, but this is only because they are under stress. On the smaller farms, they are not put in crammed environments, thus making them more relaxed. When you're buying from factory farms, you're buying and consuming more chemicals and diseases. Because of how many animals are on the factory farms, bacteria spreads very easily. This makes the need for medicine higher. CAFOs use antibiotics for the bacteria that the animals get, but they use so much of them and so frequently that the bacteria in the animal builds up antibiotic resistance. This bacteria can spread from the meat to the humans. This means you're more likely to get antibiotic resistance bacteria from the meat that is purchased from a bigger corporation. Unlike factory farms, local farms do not have to use as much medicine or pesticides because the animals are not as crammed together. Even though smaller local farms do use medicine on their animals, it is not in as high quantities and as frequently, so it does not give the bacteria time to build antibiotic resistance. Local farms are better for the animals and consumers, thus providing quality meat. In order to provide better quality products, they are more expensive. When buying meat at the grocery store, you should consider why some meat is cheaper than others. Even though not all local farms are better for the animals and consumers, the majority of them will be. You should consider that next time you're at the grocery store.
Okay, not